Welcome to today's video, and today's game I'm going to teach you how to play and possibly review is Mansions of Madness. This is the second edition. The box says a game of exploration, mystery and horror for 1 to 5 players. It's based on the Arkham Horror world by H.P. Lovecraft, that kind of mythos. It's done by Fantasy Flight, so you know it's going to be good. The quality is amazing, so let's just have a look inside and I'll explain things. Okay, so here you have the app explained. So this just tells you that before you play the game you need to download the app, so that's a key. The app is literally called Mansions of Madness. You can get it on the Apple or Android store. And this just explains how to play that. So I'm going to put a picture of this up later so you can have a really good look. I will be going into that later as well, so you'll learn either way. Obviously next up we have the rule books. There's a learn to play book and there's also a rules reference book. And then these are from my expansion, so we'll just ignore them for now. And so basically you get these tiles, there's square and rectangle, and when you get one of the expansions you get like a longer rectangle, but we'll put that aside for now. So you get square ones, they're double-sided and each has a different room or building on it. There can be libraries, bedrooms, shops, warehouses, dungeons, there's all sorts. I'll just give you a quick look at these. All of them have their name written in either the top left or the top bottom corner, depending on what is on it. Some of them are more than one, as you can see there. We have the shop office and we have the magic shop, so there is more than one room on each one sometimes. And these white lines here are spaces. So for example, say we had this next to each other in a game and the doors were lined up. Sorry, hang on, let me do this. So there we go. So if this is our game board that we have right now, if I was here, a space to move would be one movement from there, or 1, 2, and go through this door would be 1, if I was here, sorry, would be 1, 2. So doors don't count, but each individual lined space does. So that would be one space, that's one space, that's a space, a space, a space. And each one is called a room. Okay, so I'll show you some of the rectangles. There's lots of different types. There's museum exhibits, there's entry halls, there's library archives, there's offices, there's bedrooms, there's a lot of different types. There's a good amount of variety in this game, which is one of the reasons I like it quite as much as I do. So we've got our tokens, we've got our female characters, or male characters, I'm not sure which. Yep, there are females. We've got all our cards, our monsters, the barricades and the secret passage tokens, our character tokens, the dice, character cards, fire and darkness tokens, generic tokens, and I've never known what these are for. If anyone can tell me what these are, I would love you to explain them to me, please, because I've never had to use them. Thank you. That would be amazing if someone could tell me what they actually are. So, first of all, I'm going to load up the app, and then I can show you how you play it. Okay, so I'm just going to load up the Mansions of Madness app. Here we go. Go to new game, you pick your story. There's 15, you have to buy most of them. I think you get 4 free with the base game, you can buy 2 in the app stores, and then the rest have to be bought from expansions. So they make a lot of money off this, but to be honest, I've personally found every penny worth it. I've really enjoyed the game. I've found it quite deep. Even the stories that haven't got as much detail in them kept me kind of interested the whole way through. So yeah, we'll just see what we got. So I'll show you what we have. We've got these. There's lots of different ones. So this is another one that you'd have to buy here, the physical product required at the bottom right. When you've bought the expansion, I'll show you how to do that in a second, you can then add it to the game. So these I have because I've got the expansions basically. So just to show you how you would add an expansion, you go to more, you go to my collection, whichever one it is, first or second edition, and mine is second. And these are the ones I have and these are the ones that I haven't got in red. So the green are the ones that I have, and basically to make it active, you press this little button here. So you select the one you want to pick, so let's say Sanctum of Twilight, and if it's disabled, you just click and you get it enabled. That'll add all the characters, all the items that you get in the app, all the story things and bits like that, they're all added. So we go to new game, let's just say we go for this one at first.
I'll skip past the story so that you're not going to ruin anything. So if you don't want it to be ruined, just kind of look away for like literally a split second while I skip the story. But we have to select our investigators first. So I always like Lily Chen because she gets a +2 damage if she attacks unarmed, and her strength and dexterity, agility are quite good. My friend always goes as Min Tai Pan, so we'll go for them too. And then you selected your characters, you get these items out. So let's get the cards out. We have the cards. Now there's a heck of a lot of cards in this game, I am going to warn you. So these are elixir cards, and these are gained with one of the expansions. So they have an effect on the back, and each one is different. Whether you become dazed, you have to gain a horror. You gain another improvement, for example, because these give you improvements, which is a +1 stat. We have damage. Let's just get these out. So these are your damage cards with this background, this heart background. They can be nothing. They can be something as innocent as a mild injury, which doesn't really affect you too badly. No additional effect. Flip this card face down, and that would just count as a face down horror. We've got another minor injury there. This one is a fog of pain, and that's slightly different. You have to resolve this immediately when you flip it over, and that means you discard one improvement and then discard it. So in the plus point is you get rid of the damage when you have to flip that over, but with a minor injury, although you have to keep it, you're not losing anything. It's just another damage added. We've got some spells. We've got Rack with a Spectral Razor, Shriveling, Poison Mist, Implant Suggestion, Forced Learning, Flesh Ward, Feed the Mind, Azure Flame, Arcane Insight. And so basically these all have different backs to each other. So all the racks, although they have the same front here, the backs are different. So I'll just show you this now. So I'll take these two. So this one here, you would have to suffer a face down horror after doing this. With this one, any investigator in your space and you suffer 1 face down damage, and the monster suffers an additional damage. So each card, although they look the same, it's the same spell, there's a slightly different effect each time you cast it. And it will say at the bottom, when you've used this spell, discard this card and gain another spell. So you gain the same spell but just a different card. So you'll have a different effect each time. We've got Insanity cards. These come into play if you gain enough horror that equals your insanity. Enough horror that equals your sanity. If we look here, Lily Chen has a sanity rating of 7, so I could gain 7 horror cards, which I will show you now, and I can find them. When I gained 7 of these cards, face down or face up, I would then go insane. Okay, I would then have to take one of these cards, and again, they all look the same on the front, but they're all different on the back. So this one is called Arcane Aspirations. Regular weapons are useless against the powers that are aligned against you. The only thing that can keep you safe from otherworldly harm is otherworldly protection. You do not win the game as normal. Instead, you win only if the investigation is complete and you have 1 or more spells. Otherwise, you lose the game. So each character might have a different scenario of how you win the game. And you've got to kind of figure out how you're going to manage it. You might have to fulfill everyone's, or just one person's, then do you lose? You know what I mean? Like, so, Insanity cards are a bit of a bummer, but you don't get them very often. I think we've had, out of maybe 30 odd games, 1 Insanity card ever be used. That's it. So they're the insane cards, they're the spells. So I've shown you the horror. You get enough of these that equal this amount, you go insane. You get enough of these, you become wounded, which is an effect card, which I'll show you in a second. These are the effect cards, which have this background. These kind of like tentacles. And these can be various things, from being focused, being righteous, being stunned or stressed. You gain wounded when someone has gained enough horror damage that is equal to their amount. So again, for Lily Chen it will be 7, and she'll become wounded, which is another card. So yeah, you've kind of got to balance things. You've got to keep an eye on your amounts of cards of things, and try and, if you've got cards that will let you get rid of horror or get rid of damage, use them when you can, definitely. Don't think, oh, I'll save it. If you're getting close to getting these amounts, just use it, definitely. The game is quite generous with items, I've got to say. Some levels are more generous than others, definitely. But yeah. So the ones with this back are the unique item cards. These can be anything from a cult sigil, a cultist journal, conclusive evidence, Becky, an ally, ironic. A brass key, there's different types of keys you have to collect to open different locks in some levels. There's a lot of different types of items. And then finally, nearly, I think we're finally there, we come to the common items, which are this back. It's like a strap, a back strap. And these, I've put mine in alphabetical order. That's definitely the best way to do it, because you will be getting items out of here regularly. And if they're not in alphabetical order, you'll spend half of the game literally searching for one card or two cards, rather than playing the game. So definitely alphabetise them. It makes your game a lot easier. And the game does, I think, come alphabetised when you get it new. I was an idiot and got over eager and thought, oh, I'll separate all the cards out. And I shouldn't have done that. So if you get it brand new, make sure you keep them all in the same way they came on the cards, because they will be in the right places. Okay, so let's see. This is our game so far. Let's move these. So I've got the 2x4 common item. Let's get that, which is here. I've got that. I've got the fire extinguisher. We've got the holy water, which is here. We've got a kerosene lantern. Yep. And we have forced learning, which is a spell. I think this gives someone an improvement, but I could be wrong. You or another investigator within range may improve one skill of your choice, then flip this card. Okay, cool. So, let's just move all the things that we're not using. Okay, so this is our game. We've got our items. I'm going to divide them up between the characters. So seeing as Lily Chen's better unarmed, I'm going to give anything that can be used as a weapon to Min Tai Pan. I'll give the spell to Lily, because she's got a better will, although Law does come into this sometimes more than will, but she's equal with Min Tai Pan on this, if I show you. Min Tai Pan's got a law of 3, I've got a law of 3 as Lily Chen, but the will is higher for Lily Chen. She's got 4 and Min Tai Pan has 3, so it's better to give her the spell, I think. The holy water discards a horror, that can go for Lily, why not? And you may discard this card to convert all clues to successes while attacking unarmed, so that's perfect for Lily Chen. So now each investigator starts with 2 clues.
Now we're into the game.
So this is the map.
I have to place things as the map tells me, so I'll just show you what this is. So, oh, that's handy. I've got this right here. You step in the warmth of the house. A strange stillness hangs in the air, and your footsteps echo through the quiet entrance. Place your investigator figures as indicated. So, that's that way. Get our characters out. There we go. I'm slacking out. I forgot about these. I think they should be at the top though. Yep, we're good. So they go there. Okay, so here we have it. So we have a search token. Now I'll explain the tokens as they come up. We won't have all of them come up in this one, I believe, but I'll show you them anyway. So here we have a search token on our chair. Got an explore token here, which means there's a door, and these are basically items or things to search. Here, I'm just going to have to get that tile. So that's an observation token, so it basically means that you can't see around here from this position. Sorry, I'll move this closer. So basically that's there. So if we're here, we can see down here, but we can't see what's here. So this is an observation token on this tile, basically to show that there's something around here, but we just don't know what until we look. Nice and easy for once. Relatively painless. Okay, that's what we got. So we have a search, a door there, an explore token, sorry, there. We have one here. So sometimes the doors will line up with each other. So as you can see here, there's no wall. This just continues. But here we have a wall with this brown kind of line here. This represents a wall. So we've got a door here, which is why the explore token's there. And we have a door here, which is why an explore token's there.
a search token, you just click on it. So I'll show you now. If we click on this search token, we'll go for this one. A disheveled pile of papers sit on the table. Search. The papers stacked on the table are invitations marked with today's date. The stars have come round to their positions in the cycle of eternity. The Vanderbilt Astronomy Association cordially invites you to a celebratory evening. Gain a clue, which is one of these, and discard this search token. So that goes, and then we search that. That's done. So this now has been looked at, and I'll show you how we go through a door. It's pretty simple. You open it. So we look here, press it here. The door leads to a large front room of the mansion. Sorry. Okay, so this is a square one. So you can tell from this usually the size of them. The rectangles were obviously thinner and smaller, and you've got the squares that are bigger and wider. I don't need to explain what a square is, I hope. There we go. So, that goes there. Let me just make sure I've got it the right way around. That's another thing, you've got to make sure that you get it the right way around, because otherwise it might confuse you a lot when you look later on and you're putting new things down. So, we have a large chest that catches my eye. I place a search token here. A large wooden table stands against the wall beneath a portrait of a stern-looking man. Place the search token as indicated, so we put that there. We have a wooden desk stacked with books. We have a door, which is an explore token, which is red. And I'm going to move one space into explored area. So if I just show you, that disappears now because we explored it. So sometimes the doors don't always match up. So here we have a wall and here we have a door. So they're not always perfect, I've got to say, but usually you can get it right by just lining up the doors. So that's my two movements basically. So I've gone one here, and then I've got my movement into the room, which is here, and I've got an action. So you get three turns, three actions, two movement, one action. I think usually is what people do, or one movement, two action. You can sandwich the movement, you can sandwich the actions in between each other. It depends kind of what you want to get done. So you could search, move, and then search again. That's always a good way of doing it. So I could go search on my next turn, search, move here, and search that one. But right now we have Mintai Pan's turn, and I think we'll get some characters going. So we'll go here. A ruckus can be heard on the other side of this door, shouting, the crash of pots and pans, and is that hissing? Explore. Okay, again another square one. And this is we discard the explore token because we've explored it. And we move on. So there's a creature. We have a hunting horror, and I suffer 2 horror, but my will negates. So my will is 4. So I just need to get the dice. And you get some lovely dice with this game, I must say. D8s, I think they've got 3 success and 2 clues. 4 success and 3 clues, sorry. So you've got a good chance of getting some, and your odds are 1 in 8 of getting a blank. A clue, which is this, an investigation little symbol. You can spend a clue to make that a success, which is that. So if I rolled that, let's say I roll that, I spend my clue, it becomes a success. You can't do it for blank ones, you can only do it for clues. And so basically my will is 4, as Lily Chen. So I'll show you that. So I roll 4 dice, I just need to get 1. I've got 1, so I've passed that, we're fine. No horror taken. In the corner of the centre of the dining room, a carving knife is embedded in a roast. Place the knife, common item. Okay. So now we go to our common items and we flick through, and as I say, alphabetise, this is a lot easier. I didn't do that for a while and it was a nightmare. Okay, so we have a search token here, a china cabinet. We've got a search token over here as well, which is a kitchen that we can see through a blackened window. Serving window, sorry, I don't know why I said blackened. In the kitchen I can also see that someone has left the refrigerator open, so we have another search token there. And we spot an old man we saw climbing through the serving window building and huddling in the corner behind the oven. No, sorry, I'm not going to find the right character token because I'm too lazy right now. So I will just show you him, say he's Eugene. Okay, so we continue. We can move 1 space into the explored area, so she goes there. The knife is on this side. You know what? I'm going to attack that hunting horror as my second action. So we go to the monster tab, which is just here, look, in the bottom left. You press the monster, you press attack or evade depending on what you want to do, and I want to attack. I'm going to attack with Mintai Pan, and she has 2 heavy weapons, both do 2 damage, so I'm going to use the fire extinguisher heavy weapon. I'm going to show you it says heavy weapon here. As you swing, you attempt to leap up to get a better angle of attack against the creature. Strength 2, so I need to get 2 successes. My strength is 4, so I rolled 4 dice. And I've done it. I got 3 successes and a clue, so I could literally make that 4 successes if I wanted to. I do damage equal to the weapon's damage plus my results. That's 3. The damage weapon is 2, and I get an extra bonus of 2, so that's literally 7. He's going to be well dead. He is dead at 5. Confirm. The creature lurches to the ground, dead. Hearing the monster's final fate, the old man in the kitchen cautiously steps out. Move Eugene as indicated, so we move him. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the mythos phase because I've had my turn. So this is the bottom right button with the little arrow. I press confirm and we go to the mythos phase, which is like the games phase to do its own thing. So your mind is filled with a subtle slow ticking of a clock, no immediate effect. Okay, so we're back to the investigator phase. And now I'm going to talk to Eugene. And so we can ask him 2 things. Are you okay, or where's Mr. Vanderbilt? I'm going to ask, are you okay? We gain the lucky rabbit foot common item, and we discard a horror. That's perfect token. That hasn't come up into use yet. This basically is something that you can interact with more than once. So it's usually like a radio or a ritual site, a spell site, things like that. We've looked at the search tokens. These are basically things that you search, you look through. And on the back of the search token, we have the interact token. So these are double-sided. We have an explore token, which is the red one, the red lantern, and that's basically a door. And on the back of that, you have an eye token, which is the observe token, which means you look at it, you look at something. So originally that was here, which means we would look here. So we'd come around this corner and we would see here. Other than that, the game's pretty self-explanatory. There are monster tokens that you can use. There's also monster figures that come with it and bases. So you can have a full-on figure game if you want to. Me and my friends normally just use the tokens, but yeah, if you like figures, you can get totally into that side of it. If anyone has any questions, let me know. I hope I've explained everything. There might be a couple of things I'll add on at the end. So thanks guys, take care.